We're going to have a really good day. Desire is such a good thing unless you are contradicting it with disbelief. If you have a desire and it's fresh and new, and so you haven't practiced not believing it, then there's an exhilaration in it, isn't there? But if you have a desire that you've been wanting to come into physical fruition, you want it to manifest, you want to see it in your life, you want it to be visible to you and to others around you, and you've been holding that desire for a while and it doesn't seem to be showing up, then sometimes you get weary of holding the faith, because you, dear humans, are really focused on what you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, as you really should be. You are extensions of source energy in this leading edge time and place. And this part of your non-physical consciousness that is focused here in your physical body is specifically focused here because you are powerful and genius creators who want creation to go to its fullest manifestation. There are a lot of creations that are happening in thoughts that you think. That's a creative flow. There are lots of energy streams. There's a lot of universal consciousness. But you are in these bodies at this time, in this place, because it was your intention in coming into this physical body to focus in such a way, to hold enough attention on a subject already flowing, that you could be the realizer of it, the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, realizer of it. Sometimes, as we visit with you, we can feel that you have a sort of dilemma within you that goes something like, shouldn't I be more spiritual, and shouldn't I think about more important things? And isn't the material world something that is lesser than? And shouldn't I care less about things and more about spirit, more about source? And we say, you really cannot separate yourself from the spirit, source, soul, God force that really is you. But it is our promise to you that you have come into this environment intending to bring all of that wisdom and clarity with you, and to explore this environment with all of the uniqueness that you all are. Not just the uniqueness that you are in your individuality, but the uniqueness that you provide as you bounce around with one another. This combination of beings has never been before into all of the universe. And so today, we're going to have a unique and first time leading edge experience together, because this combination of beings, both physical and non-physical, really demands it. So it is our desire that since you are here in this time and space, in this physical body, that you relax into more of an understanding of who you are and why you are here and what it is all about. You have come for the joy of deliberate creation. You've come because from your broader perspective, that perspective that you held when you made the decision to flow into this physical body, from that perspective, you knew that there was a perfect platform of balance into which you were being born. And you knew that there would be enough stability around you, that just by your observation, using your physical senses, that you could get your footing. But you also knew that you would be unique and that you would have experiences that would cause you to know what you don't want and therefore know what you do want. You knew that out of this life experience that you would come to personal preferences and conclusions and decisions and desires. You knew that life would help you know what you would prefer, because each of you, each of us, is selfishly oriented, and by that we mean perspective of self, caring about what feels better. Now we want to remind you of just a few things as a basis of this gathering. And the most significant thing that we want you to remember is that As you came into this physical body, not all of you came. The larger part of you, this consciousness, this eternal you that is you, remains non-physically focused. And it's so important that you know that, because what that explains is the vibrational relationship between that God source energy, non-physical part of you, and the part of you that is here focused in this physical body. And an understanding of those two perspectives is really important. It's required before you can even begin to understand why you have any emotions at all. Because your emotions are your vibrational indicator of the vibrational alignment or variance between the source within you and whatever it is you're thinking about in any moment in time. So some of you have been listening to us for a while. We know you have. And you have heard us talk about the law of attraction, how it is this universal law that manages the vibrational frequencies of all projectors of thought. And as a consciousness, that's what you are mostly. Yes, you are a clump sitting on your chair. We cannot deny that. You are a physical manifested being, but you are energy flowing all the time. And so when you begin to understand that in every waking moment, you are projecting a thought, and that thought has a vibrational basis, and law of attraction is managing the vibrational basis of your thought and aligning it with the vibrational basis of other thoughts that are like it. Then you begin to understand how it is that you, not somebody else, you create your own reality. And you do it because you are continually broadcasting a vibration that is being matched and met by other vibrations. And so it isn't too difficult, if you're paying attention at all, to realize that the mood or attitude that you've got going on is really reflected back to you in the things that come to you. In other words, you get what you're thinking about. You just do. So we believe that you are understanding that to a certain extent. A lot of people are talking about law of attraction, and you are beginning to understand that this is a universe that is based upon attraction, which means inclusion. There's no exclusion, no exclusion. So when you see something that you like, that you prefer, that you approve of, and you say yes to that, you're actually including in your vibration and in your point of attraction something that you do want. But when you see something that you don't like at all, and you don't want it, and you shout no at it, you're actually including in your vibration this thing that you do not want. Because this universe does not hear yes and no. It only responds to attention to a subject. So when you give your attention to something, you offer a vibrational frequency, and your output is then met by things that match it. That's why you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So that's pretty straightforward. And we don't have to teach you much about that any more than when you were really little and you first got here, that someone took you to a gravity class. It's important that you understand about the gravity on this earth, because if you don't understand it, when you step off the porch, you might float up. Nobody had to teach you that, because gravity is consistent with you. And so is law of attraction. So we really don't have to talk too much about how you get what you think about, because there's not a shred of evidence in your life or anyone else's that says otherwise. You begin to notice, if you begin to notice the correlation between your attitude and what you've been thinking and feeling and what keeps coming back to you, law of attraction is very fair and will match you with whatever your output is. But there's a piece of this law of attraction that you may not really be understanding, that may not at first feel quite that straightforward to you. And what that is that you were source energy before you came into this body, and a part of that consciousness or focus is you in this personality. So as you are sifting and sorting through life, and therefore knowing what you don't want and knowing what you do want, you're launching continual, what we've been calling rockets of desire, because they emanate from you. You project them vibrationally, and they move out ahead of you. They are desires that you haven't practiced, but they are desires that you've honed out of your experience. When someone's rude, you want them to be nicer. When you're rude, you want to be nicer. When you don't have enough of something you want it. When you have too much of something you don't want, you want the absence of it. In other words, your desires are born from your experience. So as you are launching these rockets of desires, and here's the part that most of our physical friends do not remember. You've launched these rockets of desires, and your inner being, the larger part of you, the non-physical part of you, that remains non-physically focused, receives those requests from you, understands them, knows them, and becomes them vibrationally, instantaneously. So there's a vibrational version of you who has become less rude, or who has become more clear, or who has become less confused, or has become more prosperous. That larger part of you has become the vibrational equivalent of each and every request that you've launched. So much so that there is a vibrational body of work that you have done that is so available for you to understand and available for us and your inner being to know, that we have entitled it your vibrational reality, because it is so real. A vibrational reality. We wanted you to understand it and to accept it. We even gave it the name the vortex. In other words, it's this vibrational reality that is the beginning of all things that you want. It's the vibrational version that will turn to thoughts and thoughts to things. In other words, it's the way you create your reality. But you've got to understand and accept the existence of this vibrational becoming. And then you, in your physical form, you've got to figure out some way to consistently be a vibrational match to the vibrational reality that you have created, or else you will not be able to manifest the things that you want. But even more important than that, you will not be able to feel good, because you have expanded to a place that you must allow the rest of yourself to expand to too. There's an important thing that we want to say. Unless you are aware of the potential gap between your thoughts and the thoughts of your inner being about the same thing. Did you hear that? Your inner being is having thoughts in the moment that you're having thoughts about any subject. And the way you feel is your indication of how in harmony your thoughts are with the thoughts of your inner being. When you see someone and their positive aspects are just so apparent to you, and you are just appreciating their clarity or their cleverness or their whatever, so you are tuned in to this love frequency that is really who you are, and you are feeling such appreciation for them. There's no gap between you and your inner being. You're exactly on the same vibrational wavelength, because that's how your inner being is feeling about them. Every now and again, Esther would say to us, because she could feel that she was on a different wavelength than her inner being about some subject or some person. And she said to us, Abraham, I think you need more information about them. You couldn't possibly feel the way you seem to feel about them if you knew what I know. In fact, I think I'd like to tell you what I know, and I think you should join me, because clearly it's the separation between us that is making me feel bad. So get real and come over here and face reality with me. And we say, we don't want you to face reality. We want you to create reality. And we're not ever coming over there with you. Not ever. Get used to it. We're not ever coming over there. There's been too much evolution into the pure positive energy that we are. We're not going to join you in your pushing against. And that's such a good advantage to you, because since your inner being will never join you in your pushing against, you can always know where your inner being stands. And you always know, if you care about how you feel, how to close that gap, how to come into your power, how to come into the leverage of the energy that creates worlds, how to hook up with that energy that does create worlds, how to be the creator of your own environment, you see.